Hi and welcome to RCKicks. On today's show, we finally get round to starting the Tamiya Vanquish restoration project. Now, I picked up this one a while ago and I'm not sure if it was a great buy or not. It had a few nice things on it, but it's quite a tired example. So let's tear into it, see what the condition's like. With a bit of luck, we'll be able to rebuild it back up and make it lovely and new again. I ordered a replacement body and wing because the wing shot. Also new wheels. The tyres are wrong on this at the moment, so I'm going to change the tyres, but the wheels are close. They're not the exact wheels that were on this car. They should be more of a cream colour, but there's a way that you can actually make this cream. It's got a Technical motor in it as well. There's some original high top upgrade suspension, which I probably won't put back on this. I'm not sure yet. Fingers crossed there's nothing too wrong with the car. It looks okay. Let's go. So these wheels aren't exactly the right ones for this car, but even so, they're still hard to come by and really expensive. The car came with black egress lightweight wheels and tyres. Now the tyres were correct, but the wheels were actually wrong. These are black, whereas this car should have a cream colour. These original Tamiya high caps just need a bit of love and a good service. They seem to be okay. One of them was leaking slightly, so I'll have to dig into that and see what's going on, but it's probably a perished rubber. Mechanical speed controller and all the electronics in this car all look perfectly fine and serviceable. Oh, that reminds me, Lee McLean, please get in contact with me because you've got a Hornet waiting here for you. I'll keep trying to contact you, but if you don't reply within a few weeks, I'm going to have to give it away to somebody else. Right, let's get the rear suspension off the car. I'm probably just going to put standard original suspension back on this car. I don't think these shocks really suit this car. I have messed around with the rear ones already. And yeah, I wasn't overly sold on the car liking them. I think they're the wrong length and everything, to be quite honest with you. See, I rebuilt these ones. I didn't clean them, I just rebuilt them, and they're working fine. But I think they will go on something else. So far, nothing's broken. Just grimy. That's to be expected. You know, she's pretty old. So, of course, you've got to remember that when these cars first came out, they weren't seen as special things you just keep. They're just to be driven. That's the whole point. So, you know, they were used, which is good. It's exactly what you want. split pins, boo. God, these are in here, alright? Got it. Brass. We will change them out. Feeling this kit has been rebuilt at some point because a lot of the screws have been used a few times, so I don't know whether it was just been messed with and things like that.
There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want.
I will be putting the original electronics back in this car. Also, it's going to stay brushed. There's no way I'm going anywhere near brushless in a car like this. As you can see, at some point the kit's had a new battery door fitted. As you can see from the underside, the kit's well used. It looks like it's been running over some kind of light gravel because it's got an even rough coat across it instead of gouges. I've managed to pick up a replacement chassis that's coming from America, so I'll rebuild the whole car off a brand new chassis. If you look closely at these bolts, you'll all see that they're rounded off quite a lot. It means they've been put in and taken out a good few times. It just gives you the feeling that this kit's been played around with. I get the feeling this motor's been in here a while. So this is the first time I've actually had a good look at this car as I'm dismantling it. I do have a copy of instructions, but on dismantling you don't really need them. But it's quite a finicky kit. There's lots and lots of bits, and you know, it's quite, I wouldn't say complex, but the design of parts are very over the top for what, you know, what they need to be, and there's lots of bolts everywhere and nuts and things, and I guess that's just how it was back then, you know. This wasn't a car that I really was on my radar at all when I was younger. The Avanti was, but I didn't really pay much attention to this car. The funny thing is that it seems to be that parts are actually quite difficult to find for this car. I wouldn't say there was a lot of oil in this. I get the feeling there's been a lot of screws that have been used in the wrong places and things like that. There doesn't seem to be a great consistency of what screws used. So unless when it was made, when it was built, the person really didn't pay that much attention to the screws, unless that's how the kit is, because there's lots of random different screws everywhere. So it looks like that the gearbox came with bearings inside. So it's fully ball raced gearbox, but yet the wheels are just brass. Well, nothing looks too damaged or anything. The main problem is it's bone dry. There's no oil in it at all. I mean, it's filthy. One of the reasons I went with this car came with one of these. This will not stay in this car. This will be going as something else. Does look like it's had a bit of a hard life though. It's gonna need a good clean out. So that's the gearbox, the back end all stripped out, nothing broken. It's had a bit of a hard life. Gearbox is very dry, that isn't a good sign, but the gears look okay, they don't look excessively worn or anything. It's just well used. Oh, that one looks like it's right in there. Luckily, all the suspension arms all look perfectly fine. The drive shafts all look nice and straight, and there's no excessive wear, so none of that will need changing. All the steering mechanism looked in good shape, apart from it needed a good clean. Going by the wear and tear on the chassis, this bumper is not original. it's almost perfect apart from one side has a few scratches in it, so it must have been added at a later date. The top part of the chassis showed no signs of wear at all, no cracks, no damage, a good clean, and it will come up like new. Oh well, looks like we found our first damage. I thought this was going to be a nice clean chassis, but there is some damage at the front right of the car. The good news is I've managed to find a metal replacement for the front swing arm bulkhead. I couldn't find an original, but this will do. Only part of the car that's damaged is this pin is bent, and the plastic bulkhead is toast. So there you have it, that's the strip down of the Tamiya Vanquish. What were my thoughts and feelings about this car? Well, I can't say I'm overly impressed. There's lots and lots of little finicky bits and different types of mounts, and so there's a lot of little bits that make this kit up. This specific car, not so bad, not a great deal of damage, just one little part of the front that's broken, a good clean, and it would come back up really nicely. I'm not overly looking forward to building this car. There's a lot, it's just, yeah, it is what it is. The gearbox was a bit dry, but everything seems to be okay. No excessive wear or anything from that point of view. Need to check all the screws and all the bolts, because I think there's a bit of a mixture of everything being used, so I'm gonna have to fix that. Body to be repainted, new spoiler. Yeah, it is what it is. Maybe I'll fall in love with it a bit more once I start putting it all back together again and it's all spot on. Whereas dismantling it, it just feels like a kit that's been messed with. More than just an honest car. Maybe that's my problem with it. It doesn't feel like an honest car. It feels like someone's been bodging around with it quite a lot. But we will fix it and turn it back to exactly how it should be, with every bolt, nut and what have you. So I need to order a few new parts, see what I can find, see what I can't find. Anyway, thanks very much. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks very much. Bye bye.